think everything is loading up. I think we're good. The tubes is up. Facebook is up. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here, just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy as hell as usual. So, probably go like yesterday did. It was dead the first 10 to 15 minutes, and then I ran it close to 2 hours, and we got tons and tons and tons of comments and supers, and it was just really good all the way around. So, I'm hoping we can pretty much just replicate that. We'll see what happens. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But let me get my Amazon wish list up. You guys want to send coffee and protein is most appreciated by fans right now, obviously. I'm going to link those. Yes, people send both. I'm going to put that up. We also have coaching slots open, right? I need pushing a hard sell tonight. I'm just going to post it and let people just stream in. As all my traffic goes back up on everything that gets clients anyways, I'll just end up raising prices again once traffic is good. But in the meantime, people who lock in at the current rate, we'll keep them there. All right, so how's everybody doing this morning? Hit that like as soon as you guys get in. Wow. All right, put that there. And yeah, that's good. All right. But it's going to be some of that people will come in, nothing happened, and they won't comment because they don't realize conversations don't start till you guys start them. But once you do, these tend to really kick off. So, in the meantime, we're just going to let it flow. Like I said, I'm going to post other stuff and work on things while you guys flow into here. Right? Because again, I let the people kind of dictate things, and I'm going to be in here an hour or two anyways. So I'm just going to let the fans determine the flow of the conversation. But once we're going, we're going. I'm not fully awake yet. I slept in way later today. Right. And yes, I typed that fast. That's come up before. I type 60 to 70 words a minute. So, and then I got other conversations going. It's going to be one of those mornings where we're not going to get the first question for 15 minutes and we'll get 1,000 questions. That's a typical weekend coffee chat. This has to sit in the stream for a bit before it reaches people's feeds, unfortunately. The one yesterday got, I think, 500 views, so it was okay. We got a lot of questions in it, so, and it got supers. So my plans today, I'll probably run. I took the day off yesterday from that and just did band work, but I probably don't need to do a lot of band work on the weekend. So I need to just run. So I'll get a run in here later once the sun is up. And mostly client sheets today. I don't have any calls scheduled. So if anyone wants to get consultations in, I have no calls scheduled today. I did yesterday, not today. Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Vance. Good morning, Max. How you? And finally, we got a comment. So once someone comments, then it starts tending to hit people's feeds, but it doesn't do anything. There'll be 5 people in here until people start commenting and questions, and we get conversations going. All right. Ordered some more good coffee this morning. I'm just drinking Folgers there. And ordered some good stuff. No fans have bought me any coffee off the fan list, the Amazon list lately, so I've just been drinking Folgers, but I went ahead and bought some good coffee. Should be here tomorrow. Yeah, I noticed I started to stream a good bit of people pour in about 5 minutes into the stream. Yeah, I mean they tend to pick up. The morning ones are slow. The slowest ones are the late mornings, actually. So these early mornings do a little better. They just need time. Usually we get 10, 15 minutes in, and then they really pick up, and that's when we start getting the traffic. But it depends on what happens at the start. Like if someone comes in immediately and starts posting, it just kicks off. It's good you stream at this time because it is, the afternoons. But the downside of that, Max, it's good for the EU, but it's not good for me financially because people in the EU tend to give less money. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but just meaning I benefit more from the streams where it gets mostly Americans, me personally. Just a trend I've noticed. But that's not always true either. True, I have more clients, way more clients in the West. As of right now, trying to do the math. How many overseas clients do I have at all? Most of my overseas clients have dropped due to the economy. They can't afford coaching. I have 3. I have 3 clients not in North America. That's it. I've had as many as 15 clients overseas at any given time, so that we put that into context. But as of right now, I have exactly 3 clients who are not in North America. I had in Australia and a China up until last month or 2. How did you go today? Well, I'm still waking up. The sun's not up yet. I slept in later. I didn't even wake up till like 5:30 and turn my coffee on, and that was just under an hour ago. Yeah, just me. But Americans doing a little better. I've had a trickle in of U.S. clients. I'm getting more accountability stuff in the U.S. than anything now. Like I'm getting more of those. Mustafa says, I decided to stop consuming so much caffeine to improve my sleep. You could do that, Mustafa, but it's not the total caffeine that you consume, it's the timing of it. So you could drink enough caffeine that it creates even side effects for you at 7 a.m. and it's not going to affect your sleep because it clears your system. So caffeine's only in your system at most up to 8 hours. So even if you were to borderline overdose on it, it's not going to affect your sleep if it's at 7 in the morning. Makes sense, Mustafa? But afternoon coffee can. Right? I decided to bump mine up, though, mainly because it's appetite suppressing. And I happen to really like coffee, so I bought some better coffees. What are your thoughts on intermittent fasting? Where are we going specifically? As someone who intermittent fast for years and years on end, I haven't had food before 11 a.m. in probably 3 years, 4 years. What are you asking about it specifically? You can't just ask what are my thoughts, because the stream's only going to last 2 hours at most. You see what I mean? My thoughts on any given topic could literally be 20 hours long. So let's narrow it down. Because also when you ask my thoughts, we're going to jump over into quantum mechanics or theoretical physics really quickly. So let's be concrete. We don't just ask for Coach Jason's thoughts, because then we're going to jump into politics, metaphysics, all sorts of stuff very quickly, because I'm going to just jump off into a tangent. So you asked for my thoughts. Let's start with thoughts pertaining to intermittent fasting. It's generally just really good, potentially for nutrient partitioning and appetite control. But I think Dr. Fung has really gone too far with it. For example, I have a friend who's an MD who coaches, who's pointed out Dr. Fung's stuff is complete nonsense. He's not even using real science in any of the books. It's like, I read the book, it's mostly bullshit. All right. So the whole autophagy thing, the way he promotes it is scientifically not correct. All right. But in terms of appetite control, I think it works. And I think there is some limited data for benefits to nutrient partitioning for lifters, particularly if your protein intakes are really high, right? But the other thing I would point out to Dad and the boys, when people say your diet's not very good, all right, well, fix it. To me, that's always strange when someone says my diet's not very good. You could fix that today. There's literally nothing stopping you from, I'm just going to eat healthy whole foods starting at 6 a.m. for the rest of my life. It is nothing more than a choice. That's it. That's all it is. A simple choice. Like if you decided right now, I'm going to eat nothing but healthy food every day for the next 12 years, nobody can technically prevent you from doing that. No, it's not difficult for anybody. You literally just have to decide that's what you're going to do. And here's the problem. I talk a lot about programming. If you think deadlifting is difficult, deadlifting is going to be difficult. See where I'm going with this? So because you've lied to yourself, Max, right? So that's true. So here's my point. You're weak and undisciplined. Do you think calling yourself weak and undisciplined is going to fix it, or is it going to make it worse? That's like going, well, I guess I'm just a terrible human being, so I guess I'm just going to go rob a bank. I'm a terrible human being. I'm a bad person with no morals, so I guess I should just go rob a bank. This is how this works. It's chain of logic self-programming. Well, I guess since I'm just a weak and undisciplined person, I'll just continue to be a weak and undisciplined person and eat junk. That doesn't help you. So what you tell yourself matters. That even matters in the gym. Right? And it's something I have a bad habit of. I'll mention stuff with my bicep genetics. I probably cost myself an inch on my biceps by saying I don't have good bicep genetics. As a coach, I know that is stupid. Because what do studies show us? That if you lie to a test subject about their genetics, they gain more muscle. All you have to do is lie to them. And that's worth like 5 pounds of muscle. just to lie to the test subject. Just lie to them about their genetics. And it's almost like putting them on steroids. So if you believe you have good genetics, you'll gain muscle faster. If you believe if you're told you have bad genetics, you gain muscle slower. This has been proven in studies based purely on what the researchers tell you. Same thing with steroids. So when test subjects were given sugar pills and told it was a really powerful anabolic steroid, they gained almost twice as much muscle as the people who were not in the control group. They gained muscle from being given a fake steroid and being told they were on steroids. Hey, Max, I don't understand your question. Did you restart it? The clean eating trend? You're not from the fitness world, are you? I'm going to take it. Do you work out, for instance, Max? You're very new to the fitness world. That's not a trend. That's how most people who are serious about training eat. We've been using that term longer than I've been training. It's a term I use personally. I'm going to say once something exceeds 20 years, it's no longer a trend. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, no, that's a normal thing in the fitness world. Like, yeah, you should be eating clean. Now you have the morons in the flexible dieting who pull this, well, define clean eating for us. And I think the best thing I ever saw, even though I may not always like everything Paul Carter does, he kind of wrote as a reply, don't be a fucking moron. Like, you know exactly what that means. Just stop. Because if I have to define for you junk food, I mean, and we can break it down rules to determine if something is junk food. But if someone actually requires you to give exact definitions and rules to determine what junk food is, maybe you need to be treated for being on the spectrum. And I'm not saying that to be mean. You have to be absurdly autistic to actually need that. And I'm not saying that to make fun of someone. I do mean that literally. That's a sign that someone probably has pretty severe autism, high functioning, if they need an exact definition to know what clean versus junk food is and actual rules in place, they're probably pretty seriously on the spectrum. Because normal people, non-neurodivergent people don't have any trouble with this concept at all. Well, everyone likes processed foods. So let's come over to, is processing by itself make food not clean? So we're talking about ultra processing to where vital things have been stripped out. Processing is a scale. Like, you can't survive on unprocessed food, right? You'll die. Like, this is not what we mean. We're talking about ultra processed to the point where important things have been stripped out and or bad things have been added. Okay, ultra processed does not mean processed. And when you understand that difference, it helps a lot. Because then it's again understanding what junk food is. Degrees of processing. There's enormous variation. You are eating almost nothing that's unprocessed. Like, you don't walk over to a live cow and take a bite out of it. Right. Cooking is a process, and it oftentimes improves nutritional value and net utilization. What do you think is better, mad cows or Texas method? I'm not really a fan of either one. I'm going to have a problem with any method that uses vastly different percentages for the same rep range in the same week instead of getting close to failure. This is a default. I'm just going to dismiss it outright. There's a knee-jerk reaction. It's garbage. In other words, so let's say you take some of these methods where they have a heavy and a lighter day. You just throw the light day in the garbage. Complete waste of time. You wasted your whole fucking day. That's the end of it. Done. That was a worthless workout. Right? So in other words, they're like, if you can squat 315 for 5, and then they have you come in and do 5x5 with 255 for sets of 5, that was junk. You just did junk. That workout was a complete waste of time. You could have just stayed in bed. Makes sense? That's my problem with this sort of programming. It's not even training the movement pattern because you didn't do low enough reps. Like I could get it if they say, well, you need to practice the movement. So instead of the 315 for 5, you do some doubles with the same weight or slightly heavier. But if your 5 rep max is 315, doing sets of 5 with 255 isn't even practicing the technique. Hey, Scott, but you could do your 6 rep max. But if you're not a novice, why are you trying to do 5 sets of squats in a row? So that would be the point, Scott. Like, what would be the programming benefit of coming in and doing the 5x5 to where only the last 2 are remote? So all you did was create enough fatigue to where the last set was kind of hard. Why didn't you just do the 315 for 5 again? Since you only got one remotely effective set, because it took you 5 sets for it to get challenging, why didn't you just do the 315 for 5 and go home? Like this is garbage programming, complete garbage. And it's not even technique work, because technique work for a squat, if you could do 315 for 5, I'd like to see your technique work be maybe with singles with, 335, 345. 5x5 is great for novices. Right? It's great for novices, and they're hard sets. I would replace the light day with another heavy day, or just do hypertrophy, do volume work. Do you see the problem? So now you're going off the program. Why don't you just write a better program? Instead of saying, okay, these programs have some issues, what can I fix? Let's just throw them in the trash bin and let's just move on. Let's just write something better. So if you really felt that you needed to break the training up through the week, you could do it that way. If you feel that you need a totally different training stimulus, then just do rep work. But why leave 5 reps in reserve just to do 5 sets? Like, this doesn't make sense to me as a coach. Not as someone who has coaches people. You guys have seen clients of mine squat 600 plus pounds. You've seen clients of mine deadlift 650, 700, 720 in the past. Do you think I get guys that strong with that sort of bullshit training? I mean, the program can be different. You're telling me that because someone has a different body type, that they're going to benefit from coming in and having a whole day out of only 3 days a week with suboptimal sets max, I'm going to call bullshit. No. This is garbage training. Garbage training like this is why when I tell people that getting to a 500 squat should be totally acceptable and normal, they get upset with me. Like, well, because you guys follow garbage shit like this. You know, just saying. Like, I get it if you want to do speed work. Okay. So if you're not going to do really, 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 really heavy, all right, for all your days, then do dynamic work on a box. Or do rep work and get thicker. But real rep work, actual sets that get close to failure. Do some sled work. What is your expectation for an intermediate lifter to do an overhead press for 1 rep? An intermediate, yeah, I think 60 kilos should be a good number. I say that as someone who can't overhead press right now still. I wish that I could. I'm going to keep working. I feel like my pull-ups and dead hangs are going to help over time. But yeah, I want to be able to overhead press again. I want to get back to, two plates aside for strict press. But I mean, I agree with Scott here. So, come in and squat heavy. And then if you need other stuff, this is where other hypertrophy work comes in, sled work comes in to get your legs bigger. Right? So you guys see Ryan, for example. You've seen Ryan come through, and then people look at some of his social media. He's down almost 100 pounds body weight, right? And his lifts are going up. You guys know how I train him? So he's over here getting real close to a 315 bench, close to a 500 deadlift while on a diet. He's been losing several pounds a month for a year. Over a year, right? And I have him getting stronger every single month. I program his numbers and he hits 1 rep on the squat, bench, and deadlift. We do a heavy single every workout. Then we do weighted dips, weighted chin-ups, front squats, reverse hypers. That's his entire routine 3 days a week. Most of the other stuff is 8+ reps, like 8 to 15 reps. He's literally recomping. He's like, my chest and shoulders and everything are bigger. But that's how I train him. We just do training maxes, and I prescribe them every week, and I look at the bar speeds. He has 1 hour to train because then he works 12-hour shifts. He has 1 hour to train in the morning, 3 days a week. He does it before sunup. So we ramp quickly. We run through a heavy single on those lifts. We don't even do rest. We don't do anything light. Everything is above 90%. And then he just does volume on those others with supersets. So we supersets dips and chins, superset front squat, reverse hyper, and we get out. Now he's at almost 100 pounds of weight loss, and he's bigger and stronger than 95% of dudes at the gym. Okay. Max says, I want a new workout to hit my triceps hard at the end of the workout, and I'm bored of the tricep machines. What's a tricep machine? Do some dips. Do some easy bar extensions or some rope press downs, but dips will build your triceps. Get strong at weighted dips, full range of motion. Tricep machine. What? I can't even get my head around the idea of building a tricep machine. It just seems strange. Seems really strange to me that someone would build a machine to try to directly train triceps. Is it even useful? Really? I don't even see how that's useful for bodybuilders who can't do certain big movements because their drug stack causes the back pump and the lack of conditioning. Right? Strange. Yeah, it's probably newbie gains. Ab wheel can have its place, but people do it with a barbell just fine. Like if you have the floor space, I mean, if you're trying to, the problem is that you got to have the shoulder health to do the ab wheel. People have been doing it with barbells forever. You just put some 10-pound plates on a bar, on an Olympic bar, and do it. Right? It's like an ab rollout, really. No, it works. It's a decent enough ab exercise. I'm trying to get my shoulders back to where I can do front squats again, though. I feel like front squats do so much for my quads. It's a good point. I didn't think of that. Yeah, dude, people did them with barbells for decades before that wheel. Someone came up with it. All right. So, yeah, we got that. Oh, I forgot to check Facebook for a bit. Mustafa over here. All right. You're still asking about caffeine and sleep. Yeah, so the thing is with caffeine and sleep, don't have any caffeine within 8 hours of bedtime. Problem solved, right? So resolve a great many problems. But no, so if you're struggling with triceps, get good at dips. Failing that, the rope press downs are good, but laying extensions with an easy bar, that closer grip is really good too. Right, it'll light them up. I wouldn't even be bothering with any of the isolation on my arms other than I know that I need it to get caught up. Like if I had different genetic structure, I wouldn't need to train my arms directly at all. I would just do dips and chins. But because I'm so gifted in other areas, that's why a lot of people talk about genetics. They'll throw the thing out. If you have terrible genetics, I'm like, you mean I have loose skin from being fat? You mean I have bad bicep insertions? Because I think I have pretty good back genetics and pretty good calf genetics. Since I don't actually train my calves, and I have a ridiculously wide back, I don't know. I don't think my genetics are the worst. But that's the issue I run into, is that if I've relied on just dips and chins only, I'm not going to be proportionate. I got plenty of loose skin backs, but I notice it. But as I get leaner, I feel like it'll tighten up more. I just got to lose more body fat over time, because it goes away when I did water cuts. That was the thing I noticed too from the pictures I have. When I did the 23-pound water cut for those 198 records, it was all gone. Even the low back, it was tightened up when I dehydrated out. So it tells me I've got to just lose more fat around the waistline over time. But yeah. But I'm going to push arms harder. But I'm going to get there mostly with the dips. I'm just going to hammer dips. Obviously, I've been PRing the extensions. But I feel like for me, with those full range of motion dips, like if I can get to at least 15 rep sets with a 45-pound plate, I feel like my triceps will be in a good place. I'll probably be benching past 365 again if I do that too, because that carries over really well for me personally. Right. I'm going to refill my coffee, guys. Is that a Gibson? Yes, that is a Gibson Les Paul. Would you like to see it? Her name is Vanessa. So yeah, that's the traditional Pro 5, that's a mid-range Gibson. It's not a high-end Gibson. I eventually will probably get a Gibson Standard. I just didn't want to spend $3,000. I'm okay with spending $2,000 on a guitar. $3,000 just felt a little steep for me. I got that one on sale for $2,000. Should as a guy do glute kickbacks or as an RDL plus squat, and my bottom is pretty flat. No, you don't need glute kickbacks, dude. Do astrograph squats. Squat deep. Squats and deadlifts will build your glutes. Some reverse hypers and things can help, but more squats. Yeah, Gibson makes phenomenal guitars. I had someone bring that up in the comments. They were like, wow, someone said on my Facebook a while back, one of the guys who chimes in says, wow, you got a real Gibson, like they're not an Epiphone. And I'm like, but honestly, Epiphones are not that bad. Like, I know a lot of Gibson purists will hate on the Epiphones, but I got a bro who has one, like one of my inner circle friends. He bought an Epiphone, like one of the little Slash signature ones, right? It's like a $900 guitar, right? And I think he got it unused on like Facebook Marketplace. I think he paid like $700 for it. I've played it. It's a high quality guitar, right? Like I played it. I'm like, dude, it's a really good, like, I don't care that it's not a true Gibson. It's the Epiphone. It feels good. It sounds good. And he got it for $700. Like, that is not high-end guitar prices, and for the money, I was actually really impressed with that guitar. Like, for the price point, it's actually a really good guitar. So I don't hate on the Epiphones. Like, I think he got his money's worth. Absolutely. Yeah. Opinions on hack squats. I could take them or leave them. They're okay. Just a machine lift. They're not bad. They work. I got a Fender. Yeah, I got a Fender Strat also. I'll show you my Fender Strat. All right, so I've got a Fender American. All right. With my Stevie Ray Vaughan color scheme, right? Yeah. I'm way better on a Gibson. They feel better. But the Strat, I can play sitting down. And like the, right? Oops. Unlike the Les Paul, I can't really sit down and play it, right? So this I can. Right? Right. Yeah, it's a fun little just to jam on because it's not heavy. It's light. I just pick it up and sit and play it. I need to really be standing for the Les Paul because it's like twice the weight. Yeah, it doesn't sound right when it's plugged in because of this mic. When I live stream, the audio just goes. It does not like it when I plug it into the Marshall at all. Yeah, but we lost a bunch of viewers. All right. So yeah. All right. Dang, coach, you type quick as hell. 70. I've been tested at 70 words a minute. How to get bowling ball side delts. You want the recipe, you're not going to like it. Well, it's never going to happen natural. So if you really and truly want bowling ball side delts, let's say probably 2 grams of testosterone a week, plus up to 1 gram of another anabolic, some growth hormone, insulin, right? And pretty much how guys do it. Like that's kind of your recipe. So 2 to 3 total grams of gear growth insulin is usually the best way to get bowling ball delts. Probably need to sight shoot most of your gear in the delts. Also, you're never going to have bowling ball delts as a natural. Just stop. It's not possible. It will never happen. It's never been done. Let's just call it like it is. Bigger delts as a natural, get really strong at your overhead press. Do some lateral raises. If they're really something that's important to you, maybe snatch grip high pulls. Get to where you can do snatch grip high pulls with 2 plates aside or reps. Get your strict press up to 200. You have pretty good delts. Fill in the gaps if they're that important to you. Like if it's a big priority, some lateral raises wouldn't hurt. But I don't really see guys on less than 2 grams with really bowling ball delts. Not really. Not historically. There's going to be some dude who comes in here. He's like, I only use 1 gram and I have bowling ball delts. You're wrong. Right? Someone's going to make a call out video. And be like, can you prove you're only on 1 gram? Man. Yeah, someone that's typing, I type 70 words a minute. That's what I was tested at in high school. That's been 30 years though. So we were tested on it in class, our typing class, on the typewriter, like not even a keyboard. We didn't have, that was over 30 years ago. We didn't have all this. But now definitely focus on overhead press and maybe snatch grip high pulls will go far for you. You get a mini key where you're probably legit. Yeah, I'm using a full size. Well, this is a full size. What's up, Rufio? How you doing? People were watching me type, commenting on the typing. I broke out the strap for a minute. No, I've had this shirt forever. I got this shirt in like 8 different colors. It's the same. So when you see me do the red shirt or the blue shirt like this, it's all the same shirt. I got them all at the same store. Different days came in. All right. Forgot what store it was. Whatever. An ex of mine and I used to shop at. So no, I just like the fit on this shirt. I've got it in like 8 colors though. It's at least 8 years old. The V-necks look good. Yeah, I think you do. I like them. It's always laughing. People are like, "You're wearing one." I need to just go take a picture of my shirt, my shirt haul. I have shirts that I just don't wear. That's the thing. Because I have my favorite button up. Like I have a bunch of button up ones, but I have my favorite one. No, I don't want to go into my full closet. Problem with a wardrobe tour is they don't like certain stuff on the tubes. And there's an arsenal in there. And I mean a real arsenal, not with CNN says, "Oh, this guy had 2 guns and 200 rounds of ammo in his arsenal." And I'm just like, if you have less than 2,000 rounds of ammo, I just assume you're anti-firearm. Like, no, dude, I have 20,000 rounds of ammo in there in ammo cans and under the wardrobe. Like it's right there. I'll buy it. Yes, then you heard that correctly. Like that's your baseline. Like that's baseline ammo. All right. On average, I think that baseline is you should try to have every caliber that you shoot. You should have 1,000 rounds of it for every adult member of your household as your baseline. So if 2 adult people live in your house and you have 3 calibers, you need 2,000 of each. For what purpose, Max? I need you to be very specific. These are just tools. At the moment, my 5.56 is my only rifle cartridge I currently have. I got rid of my last AR-10. Open field is self-defense. That's going to be hard to prove. That's going to be tough to explain to a jury. So how about you're talking a parking lot? Right? Let's say you got to your vehicle and you've got to your long gun. No, that's never going to be self-defense. Like you're not. So 1,000 yards, you really think you're putting 5.56 out at 1,000 yards out of anything standard? I'm not talking about the Colt target rifles where it's bench rest with extreme hand loads that you have to single chamber. Even 7.62 is really, really hard at 1,000. Right? That's extremely difficult. A lot of your ammo is not going to do that without going transonic, in which case you're losing accuracy. So you generally need, probably even for that with 7.62, you're going to need a 26-inch barrel and you're probably going to have to hand load it. If you want to not go transonic. So no, this isn't so why would I ever be in this situation? So this is not a good, what's your favorite caliber? You created an unrealistic. an unrealistic self-defense situation. In short, short of the entire society has collapsed, if you shoot at that person, you're going to prison. No one's going to accept that as self-defense. You're getting charged with something. It's tough to prove 50 yards. Okay, let me put it this way. For you to successfully pull off self-defense at 50 yards, you got to be pinned down behind your car with them actively popping off at you. Right? Well, we're not in a war scenario. We're not talking. So why are we bringing up military situations for your personal use? This is not practical. So let's go over to something realistic about parking lot, and you've got 2-year long gun in your vehicle. Right? You play too much Call of Duty. I'm just going to be honest. You strike me as kind of a clown. Just as a gun guy. Just scenario. So parking lot. And I've gotten to my vehicle while laying whatever cover fire in a parking lot, and someone is an active shooter at me. 5.56 or 12 gauge, I'm fine either one. I'm okay with either one. I can make a case in terms of legalities of as much as I like the AR. It will look better to a grand jury for self-defense if you use a shotgun instead of an AR in a lot of places. So I could make a strong case for keeping just like a Mossberg 500 or 590 in your trunk loaded with buckshot. Not that 5.56 isn't phenomenal there, but I was pinned in my car and I got to and I hit him with buckshot instead of the evil black rifle that steals people's souls. Because it's black. So, yeah. I mean, a slug, but I like buckshot. Right. I mean, a slug would work too. You going to practice with it though? You need to develop a degree of proficiency with that, and slugs are not cheap. No, buckshot's not too risky there. In fact, I would argue it's a better choice. Way better choice. What's more likely to over-penetrate? Popping off slugs in a parking lot in self-defense from a guy who's got you pinned down? You know what I mean? I don't think so. There is zero chance his body is stopping a good like Sabbath slug. It's going through him. And if there's another guy behind him, it's going through him too and coming out his back. It's going to go through the car. So yeah. I think buckshot works phenomenal in that scenario. Will dips have more athletic carryover than bench press? Arguably, Benjamin. We can make a case for that. Hold on. I'm going to be right back, guys. I need a very, very, very quick restroom break. Do your dips after bench. Yeah. Yeah, Max, and honestly, man, you're clogging up the chat with, quite frankly, with bullshit. Like, this is not, war scenarios are not what we're discussing with self-defense and firearms. Like, so you should go join the military instead of asking those questions. Like, if that's legitimately what you want to do, then go join the military, join the infantry. Right? How much do you bench, Max? You talking about me or someone else? Can't very bench. I'm at 120, but I weigh 150. Yeah, you keep training, Max. At this point, you just need to bench. Right? Yeah. Even EDC, I do a Glock 19, but I think eventually, as business and budget come back up, I want to get over into 1911s full time. Right? I think one I was looking at, I would personally like as an EDC. I like the Kimber Repeat Ice. That looks really nice. Put a Trigicon on that. I think that would be a phenomenal EDC. I like 45 a lot. I mean, I do mostly 9mm, but I like 45. So my bedside piece is actually Glock 21. It's my also door answer piece. All right. I've only owned one 1911 and I sold it. Do some daily exposure is good for health. Daily exposure for what, Benjamin? Do you some daily exposure is good? Yeah, Benjamin, could you please ask this question a different way? I appreciate the support there. Carol, on the Facebook. Man, this is a super slow stream compared to some of the other coffee chats. I don't know what's up. Or you guys need to hit like. Well, yeah, you should probably get some sun exposure every day. Common sense, man. Right? Unless you choose to be a subterranean species. I mean, I'm technically getting some sun exposure right now. Right? Sunday morning, people tend to sleep in, right? Yeah, but all my European people, I'm a peeing European. Right? Yes, Americans say stuff like that. That's something I've heard many times. Silly. You kids, you hear the term European. All right. Man. Yeah, this one's been a little slower. I don't know what's up with that. What you gonna do? Hold on. I'll post another meme. That's what I'll do. Right? Gotta make that money somewhere. Every minute. All right. Do a bicep pose. I'll do it for a super chat. You want me to do the Mount by Cepheus? I need a super chat. I think that's fair. Somebody wants me to flex. I'm not doing that for free. People pay money for that on other platforms, so I should charge for it here. I'll charge less here. All right. What do you mean it's not fair? I get $10, $15 for a foot picture on OnlyFans, dude. So, you want me to flex, you're going to have to pay. That's just how it works for me. If one's body weight increases, is this technically a form of progressive overload on dips? I mean, yes. Yeah, it's progressive overload. So if you weigh 170 pounds and you do 10 dips and you gain 1 pound, you've added 1 pound to your dips. Right? Mm-hmm. So, no, it's totally fair. Big chicken. It's totally fair. All right. I think it's fair. I need to get some more coffee though. You guys hit the likes. Benjamin, did you even hit like when you came in here? The likes haven't gone up since you arrived. Come on now. I never add weight to dips and chin ups. I've always done them with just my body weight. It just mean I'm essentially getting no training. You at least maintain what you have. I mean, if there's no progress ever, you may not really be gaining muscle. No. Do you not add reps? I mean, if the reps go up over time, then yeah. But eventually, yeah, you're going to just stall there. I mean, but at least you're keeping what you have, you know? I think it's interesting, though, I do see a lot of lighter guys, calisthenics guys, who don't have good backs. It's just fascinating to me. The ones who really focus, like I've seen some guys on social media, right? Who are like, oh, the way to do a pull up, you have to get all the way up over, and they go all the way the bar to their chest. They get super high, but they're like 160 pounds and they can do 25 of those and they still have no back, which is fascinating to me. You know, I think they're so obsessed with that top part of the movement and not putting any real weight on, they just end up with no back. Yeah, it's really surprising to me because I see the difference in my back from just doing weighted pull-ups and deadlifts and stuff, and then I see some of these people coming through in reels, these calisthenics guys, and I'm like, how you have no back. Like, dude, cranking out 20, 25 pull-ups. But if you think about it, there's no tension for any amount of time on the lats at that bottom position because they don't weigh anything and they're so obsessed with getting over the top of the bar. Instead of getting just more progress through the part where the lat is doing all the work and being put into a lengthened position, they just end up with no lats. And I'm like, why don't you throw a 45-pound plate on there and just train the range of motion of the lats and quit worrying about the swinging up over the bar, which doesn't use your back. It does not use your lats at all. They're almost not involved. And just progressively overload there, then they would actually have a back. Right? Once you reach the point where your scapula come together, that's it. Any further movement is not working the lats anymore. They've completed their part of the movement. And for those guys, it would literally be 50% of the range you're doing. And it's not about half repping. It's about what is the joint doing. So they're technically turning it into a separate movement. So the guys who are swinging all the way up over are creating a second exercise, right? With a whole new set of joints involved, really. Right? It's no longer about scapular retraction. And that's fine if that's what you want to do, but it's the reason they're not building their back. They're just not adding tension through the part where the lat's doing all the work. And quite frankly, if you're 160 pounds, your lats are just not getting that much work, relatively speaking. And then they're just disengaging them, Just an interesting point I've noted. Well, they're low body weight, and then they're focused on creating this secondary movement pattern instead of training the lats on the pull-up. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like if your goal is to do 20 reps and to get your head 2 feet above the bar, then that's your goal. But the top half of the movement is not training their lats that they're doing, right? And so their lats are just only getting so much work. But I'm still shocked, like that they're still not getting more. Like when I see one of them who does this, he comes through my feet a lot, but he doesn't even have width either. So it's shocking to me. I'm like, I would expect him to have more back, even with the style he's doing. That's fascinating to me. I'm like, because he's still getting, sets of 20 with his body weight through there. It's still 160 pounds or whatever. Maybe he weighs less than I think he does. I just guessing him at 160, He could be $130. I don't know. Yeah. So I think, no, Benjamin, that's silly. You're telling me you can't track progressive overload on a chin up? Do you really expect me to believe that you were that dumb? You're capable of typing in complete sentences, including putting an apostrophe in your its. You're intelligent enough to do that. I cannot accept that you were too stupid to track progressive overload on a chin up. I refuse to accept it. All right, let me rephrase that. You're capable of typing complete sentences with punctuation in English. And you expect me to believe that it's hard at all? Come on, dude. I think this is an excuse to do a lazy ass exercise. No, this is the sort of tough love I give clients. No, I'm not on a high horse. Benjamin, I'm giving you tough love. It's not hard to track progressive overload on the chin up. Come on now. Not even remotely difficult. This is why people struggle to get strong. No, I'm not being dogmatic. I'm just telling you the basics. How do you think I get people strong, Benjamin? Do you think it is this mindset is the reason I get people who hit really big ass weights? Not even about being dogmatic. Best split for beginners. It's full body 3 day a week. Yeah, but you're making a case for a reverse grip lat pull down. So where are your lifts at, Benjamin? Well, it's because I give people a hard time. Again, I coach as a profession. I can be a hard ass sometimes. So they may be laughable, but this is what you get. You know, because it's like you have something that's incredibly easy to say something like, well, this is even easier as some sort of viable thing. Of course, I'm going to call it out. Right? Because you wrote it's a good substitute. No, it's not really, no. Because your justification for why it's a good substitute is to me is laughable. You see the point? Like, to me, that's ridiculous. Why should I try a different approach? I've tried every approach there possibly is. I've been doing this a long time. I've coached for many, many years also at this point. So what exactly is it that you think I need to try different? Well, Benjamin, I'm gonna be fair. You wrote something that I saw it perceived as laziness when we're discussing training. So why wouldn't I be condescending? Keep in mind the lifestyle that I live. Think about what my day to day looks like with my training and everything that I do. So then see it from my perspective. Like, what you wrote in my mind, I held back. Like, you think it's condescending. I was very filtered. Let me put it that way. But you see my point. So, but what you're typing is your perception too. So in my case, like what you wrote, if I were to take the filter off, you take the filter off and quit being nice, because I'm being super, super rugged nice, dude. If I were to just take the filter off and read your comment, I'd have been like, wow, that's the laziest shit I've ever read in my fucking life. God damn, that's lazy. Jesus Christ, that's lazy. Holy shit. You see what I'm saying, dude? That would be my dude. That's what my brain screamed. I was very filtered and polite in my response, but inside, when I read what you wrote, I'm like, that is some lazy ass shit. Jesus Christ. No wonder people are weak. Wow. So again, I was very polite in my response versus what I was thinking, so that's fair. I mean, so why wouldn't I be condescending when you write some shit like that? I mean, dude, you're talking to a dude who's almost 50 who deadlifts 3 days a week and then runs barefoot. It's like, so yeah, I mean, it's just, come on, dude. Now you're trying to justify your lat pull down still. Your weightlifting is not going to burn some calories. Oh my God, Benjamin. We got to work on your mindset, son. We got to work on your mindset. I think you're just being too soft, Benjamin. Straight up, dude. And this is a problem that I point out though with this generation of guys. Of this would just be normal banter among men. And you're already getting all bent out of shape. You know what I mean? So how are you going to survive in this world? And this is what I mean by we have a generation of men who become soft. Western men have become soft. It's a problem. Is Yohimbin a good fat burner? Yeah, but diet cardio is a good fat burner. So the question I would ask you, let's say you're using something like that, it's an alpha receptor antagonist. What's going to happen when you come off of it? So what are you trying to do with it? I generally don't recommend fat burners unless you're doing a bodybuilding show. No, I have basic manners, Benjamin. You come in and posting some silly stuff. I am very polite with women, by the way. I'm very much a gentleman, but when it comes to dudes, I don't tolerate nonsense. I felt the logic was really bad there. So AG, just keep losing body fat, right? But I don't know. I mean, I guess it would depend on how lean you are and how lean you're trying to get. Right. And keeping in mind, generally, if you're fairly lean, do your 30%. No, just diet cardio, man. It'll come off. You don't need Yohimbin. Stuff like that is for getting contest ripped. Like if you already have a six pack and you're trying to get leaner for a photo shoot, stuff temporary, this is where stuff like that comes in handy to get that last half a pound off of a stubborn area. And I mean, it's useful for that, but just be aware it may come back when you come off of it. Because some of those receptors also will lose their sensitivity. Hey, Benjamin, dude, that is, again, man, think through what you just wrote of how I'm going to perceive it. Like, again, very, very childish, not a man response. You got to work on your mindset. Trying to help you. Like instead of just banning you, I'm actually trying to help you. I could have just banned you. I'm trying to actually help you. How old are you, Benjamin? Serious question. What country do you live in? Are you British or American? And how old are you? Notice I didn't ban you. I'm actually asking real questions. You know, because even that response, it's a very passive aggressive. Hey, coach, your afternoon chats are always drinking. I tell you guys every day, but tonight y'all ask every day. Should I just make a status? It's usually I take a gallon jug and I mix a little Sonic cherry limeade in it and potassium citrate just for having hydration with my water. It's for electrolytes. I don't have thoughts on Connor Murphy at all. SARMs are a scam for dumbass kids. They serve no purpose. They're complete garbage. Steroids obviously are better than SARMs in every way, including more safety testing for long-term health. They're cheaper, more effective, arguably safer because you at least have long-term data on them. They're not a choice for everybody. That's a very serious personal choice you need to make after a lot of research. I'm not going to go into beginner cycles. I'm also on Facebook, which has rules against that right now. Like, I'm streaming on multiple platforms, so I'm not going to give you gear advice. Gear advice is $100 an hour in consultations. So if you need help with cycle design, you need to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, set up a consultation video call. They're $100 an hour. I'll be happy to help you out, including looking at your blood work. But I don't do that in the live streams, and it's not a free service. That GVS dude jumped. Yeah, he did. Watch him. Well, he was already on. You know, just eat 30 eggs a day. That's just, no, it's not. Ridiculous. Isn't that the most silly thing? People say eating 30 eggs a day is the same as a low dose of Dianabol. I'm like, really? It does nothing to the androgen receptor. What are you talking about? It's right. People get silly with this. I know people act like then they're going to do it. Like, you tried to eat 30 eggs a day? Jar of Nutella. My God, that's horrific for you. How about duck eggs, right? Michael Hearn selling them duck eggs, bros. Apparently that's his key, man. That $700 a month cryogenically frozen duck eggs with embryos in them. That's the secret to his success. You just pay that $700 a month for those frozen duck eggs, and you'll look exactly like Michael Hearn. There's no way Mike does trend. He's too healthy at his age to have used much trend. Just by the way. I think Michael Hearn at this point just uses testing growth hormone. Right. For ostrich eggs, right? Best bodybuilder of all time, probably Arnold. By the way, I hate modern bodybuilding. In case you're fairly new here, you may not know that. I think it's hideous. I think every Mr. Olympia for the past 25 years is a complete insult to what bodybuilding was ever intended to be. You don't like the Space Marine aesthetic? No, dude, we don't like the Space Marines, man. Blood for the blood gods, skulls for the throne of corn. Right? The most androgen, you're not going to look like you're on gear without being on gear. To look like you're on gear today, you have to mega dose. The average conservative user, everyone will just scream, that's nothing, and it's totally attainable, natural in 1 year. So, if you want to look like you're on gear, you're going to have to mega dose gear at high doses to get to where the average person thinks you look like you're on gear, not the trained eye. They're all fake natties. Everyone who claims to be natty who puts up social media content and makes their living on it is a fake natty. The biggest, I don't know, maybe I got to think back. I don't keep up with the current people. Like, I don't watch any of this stuff anymore. But I would say back in the day would have been Simi and Panda for sure. I mean, technically Mike biggest fake natty. But I think Mike is not a heavy user. I think that's just decades of conservative use and really, really hard training. Like, you can say what you want about O'Hearn with certain stuff, but his training is on point. Big perk, 40 grams of creatine, right? What's up, Jason? What's up, King Bruce? There's been a slow coffee chat today. It's been slow. I don't think we ever got over 20-something viewers. AJ, man, I feel like I have done so many videos in vast detail talking that into the ground that I get so tired of it giving a 3-minute explanation, honestly. Yeah, 3 Team D is full of shit fake natties, so fuck them. All right. Thinking in terms of there is a limit is ridiculous. In short, that 25 as a hypothetical probably isn't obtainable for 99% of the population. Your natural limit, it isn't real. It's just a point of diminished returns based upon genes and training time relative to your hormone status as it declines over the decades. How's that for a fair answer? When we talk about something like a 25, relatively lean, the assumption is they started training at 10 years old and they have really good genetics. The problem is you need so many years of training time drug-free, and too many people are going to reach their hormone threshold to where testosterone and IGF-1 decline before they get enough decades to get there. Right? So if you start lifting at 25, just forget numbers like that. Because you only are going to have about 15 years of peak hormones at the most to get there, and it's just not enough. But it's also assuming really good genetics. Right? So I would say for most guys, look, getting to 23 and a half is a good number maybe to shoot for. 24 if you really put in some serious time, drug-free on the fat-free mass index. But you'll always make gains. You don't have a limit. Like, you're always going to be able to add a little more. It's just going to be at a snail's pace once you get a few years in. Okay. It's not like you stop until you start having hormonal and nervous system limitations. No, I hate the term main gain. Greg Doucette does not get to define terms. Okay. Greg Doucette does not get to redefine words in the fitness world. So I refuse to entertain the term main gaining, which keeps changing definitions. So ask me a question in real fitness terms. I refuse to entertain that Greg Doucette gets to redefine the language. So ask me the real question without using Greg Doucette's terms. What are you asking me specifically? So assume I've never heard of Greg Doucette and I only know biology terms and fitness terms. So quit asking me about people and ask me the question. Let's assume I've never seen another YouTuber in my life. Ask me the question. Like, just put it in plain English or fitness terminology. I feel like guys struggle with this. They have no concept of training outside of what they saw on some influencer's channel. Let's talk concepts. Are you asking me, is recomposition possible? Yes. Are lean gains only possible? Yes. With the exception would be people who are shredded to the bone, right? If you're telling me you're 30% body fat, you could literally be slowly losing weight and make 100% of your muscle growth. Is nutrient partitioning? What do you mean? What do you mean is nutrient partitioning a myth? For example, the leaner you are, the more food goes to muscles, or no? Small degree of truth to that. But keeping in mind, it's not, they're talking in terms of insulin sensitivity, but keep in mind, insulin generally isn't feeding fat tissue for the most part. Like de novo lipogenesis in subcutaneous fat doesn't occur, and it's never been replicated in the lab thus far, even with carbon isotope testing. So, I mean, obviously being leaner is better overall, right? So the other point is gaining body fat helpful for gaining muscle? No, not at all. That's been completely debunked. There's no reason to gain body fat to gain muscle. The problem is this stuff gets compounded because of contest bodybuilders. This creates confusion because people coming out of a show have to do stuff that the rest of the population will never have to do. So if we removed contest ripped bodybuilders, right, we wouldn't be having these conversations at all. They have clouded things because they reach body fats that are not sustainable and are dangerous. So this creates confusion in the community, and people assume that all these people talking about their post-contest stuff applies to normal people and actual athletes. Just walking around with extra fat, increased leg size. I mean, sure, in theory, but there's way better ways to gain muscle. You could lift weights instead and gain way more muscle than walking around fat. That would be much more effective and healthier. Besides giving yourself a smaller window to eat for calorie restrictions, is there any other advantage to skipping breakfast and eating your first meal in the afternoon? Point of contention, King Bruce. I do know experts who think there are some nutrient partitioning benefits to the intermittent fasting. I personally feel like I get some because I don't eat breakfast in the mornings. I don't eat till the afternoons personally, but I can eat 4,000 calories of whole food in an afternoon just fine. All right, Joe is in here typing weird perverted stuff. There's enough people in here to vote. Everyone in here familiar with the voting system? We vote people out who come in and troll. So we call it the kapow. Do we kapow or does he stay? Let's get a vote. And if no one votes, then I'm the only voter. Stay or go, kapow or stay. We call it the kapow. So we warm up the band hammer and we smite them with holy damage imbued directly from God. Anybody voting? ALG, King Bruce. The week of power, does he stay? Man, you guys are not hip to the game. I don't have my regulars in here right now. There'd already be 6 votes. If this was a busy afternoon stream, there we go, kapow. I vote. I don't know what no diddy means. So kapow. This is 2 kapows, no stays. Warming up the band hammer. You ready for it, Joe? This is going to hurt. Kapow. Yeah. And he's out. Another weird ass pervert. Gone. Since God imbued the band hammer with +5 holy damage recently, It gets bonus damage against demon-possessed people. It's all good. Oh, someone did ask about the Space Marine aesthetic. Let me give you my response to that. There you go, Max. Keep in mind, I paint chaos stuff specifically. All my awards. You know. So why would you think that I would care about Space Marine aesthetic when all my painting stuff is chaos? All of my painting awards and trophies. Right. It's just not high enough quality webcam to see all this dry brushing. This whole thing is dry brushed. Yeah, no, I got awards for this one. I need to get a good picture up so you guys can see it better, because does not. Even the pictures I do with HD, people in real life are like, dude, the detail is way better than the picture. Like, especially on this one, because I have 6 colors of dry brush on that skin alone. Ew. All that bone. I did him all his bone. Or actual Marines, I do not always. I thought about, post a pic. I have, but it still doesn't look as good as in person. I've had multiple people say that. You're thinking of serving? Well, go in. If you want to go join the Marines, go for it, man. Go for it, dude. They'll make a man out of you. You might get shot at, but, it's a very personal choice. I would say to somebody, like, you got to decide if that's right for you. So if you're thinking about it, think it through. That's a very personal decision. Did I miss? Yeah, Rufio, we had a Kapow vote. We got a dude coming in here asking, what's the cup size on them puppies? Talking about them teddies. It's like, let's get rid of this nonsense. We don't need this nonsense. Man, we didn't get any super chats today. Oh, well. That's strange. My coffee chats have been doing well lately. I didn't get any today. He just this. We got rid of those haters. Don't worry. Yeah, we got rid of them. Man, it's already 8 o'clock. The day is young. That's true. The afternoon ones, we never know. But yesterday I got supers in all 3. All 3 of them got supers. I made I think I got like $12 during coffee chat yesterday. Thoughts on, no, don't do go bad. No, you're already talking about your 30% body fat. No, just don't do it. You do realize I do chicken and rice type diet pretty much, right? I'm very bro diet. I put up pictures of my food every day. All my meals go up on social media. But still fasted this morning. Keto. Do you see all the white rice I eat with the soy sauce on it? No, I don't do keto, dude. I do carbs and protein. I actually do really low fat right now. I'm ultra high protein at the moment, though, like 350, 400 grams a day right now. But Coach do got them quads, right? I got legs. I got to go run here this morning. I need to run. I need to get a jog in. Yeah. I'm not doing a glute spread. Mike. All right. No, I use Nair, but it's all hairy at the moment. I take it off. All right, dude, want me to do a glute spread? We've already got a G voted for a kapow. The dude asking me to do a glute spread. We got a kapow, one kapow so far. Any other votes? Rufio, you here? You don't need dating advice. You're asking other men to do a glute spread. You don't need dating advice. Keep him. Rufio says stay. We got one kapow, one stay. Anybody else voting? It's just asking about muscles. No. Okay. Mike, you didn't get banned. The people have voted to let you stay for now. Don't be typing weird goofball crap like asking for a glute spread. If you need dating advice, that'd be my first thing, man. I think you might be mentally ill. I vote forgiveness for Mike. You know, right? All right, we're gonna let him stay for now. Although I'm probably gonna wind this down, man. It's like 8 o'clock, and I haven't done a lot of other stuff. I slept in late. I got like 4 client sheets I got to do today still too, in addition to running. And there we go. Mike just has to be a stalker. So we're going to get rid of him anyways. There we go. Yeah, kapow. And pow. And he's out. Now he's out of here. All right. I am going to wind this down though. I think this is going to be the day. The coffee chat, this is enough. I'm going to end the Facebook. And we're going to get out of here. Love you guys. I'll catch you in some more lives today.